the December 13, 2022 regular city council meeting. B, approval of minutes from December 28, 2022 special council meeting. C, approval of invoice registered date ending January 10, 2023. D, approval of pre-approved expenditure date ending January 10, 2023. E, approval of council and mayor appointment to boards and commissions. Resolution 2023-1, mayor and council appointments for regular members to the boards and commissions.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No objections?
No.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to swear in the commission.
We have several here tonight, Mr. Mayor. I can't tell you which ones exactly because of the crowd.
I think all but one are here.
If you're up tonight for a board and commission, please step up. We have 2 human relations, 2 zoning, and 2 arts and cultures. 1 arts and culture. I'm sorry, 1 arts and culture. Who all do we have tonight?
I think there's 6 total. Hamyad? Okay.
I didn't see the stack. I don't believe she's here.
Stackpole?
I don't believe she came. I guess I didn't see her.
All right, I'm gonna do... Kathy's not here?
No.
I'm gonna do Hamyad first. I'm gonna do each commission separately, so there's 3 commissions. So Hamyad, Human Relations. I state your name.
I'm Yaral Jamali.
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the Human Relations Commission
the duty of the Human Relations Commission
of the City of Hamtramck
of the City of Hamtramck
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Thank you. Thanks. Maria? No Maria? Okay.
Good.
Munir?
Yep.
Zoning? Are you SM?
Yes.
Come on.
Do at the same time?
You're both zoning, so I'm going to swear you guys are going to be saying the same thing. The only difference is your names, okay? I state your name.
I, Munir Sharif,
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly
do
swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United
and the
States
Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of the state,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of
the duties of
the Arts and Culture Commission.
Arts and
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm reading my copy. Thank you. For the Zoning Board of Appeals
Zoning Board of the Appeals
of the City of Hamtramck
of the City of Hamtramck
according to the best of my ability.
according to my best ability.
Congratulations. You can sign. Top one and bottom one, please.
We never usually have this big of an audience for our boards and commissions.
Yes, no, this one right here. Yep. Yep, perfect. Thank you. Jetri?
Yes.
That's good.
Arts and Culture, there you go.
I, Jatshri Bhatia,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of the state,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the Human Relations Commission
the duties of the Human Relations Commission,
That's our
the duties of the
Okay, I got this,
Arts
yes.
and
Thank
Culture
you.
Commission of the
Thank
City
you.
of
Of the
Hamtramck,
City of Hamtramck, according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Lucky one on tonight.
And we still have no Maria or Kathy, correct?
Correct. We'll have to take
Okay,
a look.
we're all good. Thank you. That's okay. Mr. Mayor, that's all
Thank you.
for the swearing in, but we're ready for public comment again, I'm assuming?
Public hearing.
Public hearing? Yep.
So we'll move on into the public hearing, and We have the only item, Resolution 2022-160, approving public hearing and second reading of amendment to Hamtramck Animal Ordinance.
We're motioning to start the
Yeah,
public hearing.
I need a motion to start the public hearing.
Make a motion.
Second.
All right, and then
And it is
7:44.
7:44. All right, now we need a motion for the resolution.
Okay? We just opened the floor for the hearing.
Yeah, hearing for the
Yeah.
resolution.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
discussion.
Anyone want to speak?
I'm gonna speak, I have to read 25 emails. I'm gonna try to go through them really quick. Most of them are really short, so bear with me.
Sure.
This one is Ahmad Ali. Hello, Mayor, City Council, City Manager, City Attorney, and City Clerk. My name is Ahmad Ali, and I live on Home Street. My comment today is in support of the updated and tightly regulated animal slaughter ordinance. I think that these updates have brought up the balance and removed any legal issues or lawsuits that the city could have had if we didn't have these updates, while keeping in mind the cleaning to the forefront. I would also like to thank you for making new properties up for auction, but I dislike the 2-year part and would like to see that extended to at least 8 to 10 years to give people with lower savings, the majority of Hamtramck residents, the ability to buy these homes and rehab them at their own pace. As the way they now only allow rich people and corporations, since they have such sufficient funding. Thank you again for your time and service. And I apologize for any mishaps. I'm reading the emails as they come in. This is Hafiz El Samiri. We don't want animals to be slaughtered in the city of Hamtramck. My name is Abdul Malik Qasim, YALA founder and former president, American PAC Outreach. This is my message that needs to be addressed on today's city council meeting. We don't need to slaughter animals in our homes. There are nearby designated places to do so. Allowing this to happen will bring us bad consequences that narrow minds are incapable of seeing. Everyone I discuss this subject with agrees with me. Sheikh Umaysan stated that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, never sacrificed animals in his own home and said he did it in a designated place. We live in a democratic country that doesn't allow a few people to decide everyone else's future. Decisions that will affect all residents should always be put on the ballot so that people decide for themselves. This one is Yahya Hamid, no slaughter in Hamtramck homes. Dear Hamtramck City Council, this is Sayyida Begum. You are considering a resolution to allow animal slaughtering in Hamtramck houses. I don't think it's a good idea for the city. If it's a rural area, I wouldn't mind, but the city has no space between two houses. All of the residents are not Muslim. I don't want to make my non-Muslim neighbors upset by doing this. Please don't pass this resolution. This is Ratna Begum. I don't support animal slaughter in-house. MD Abdul Muhit. Hello, I am writing to express my opinion about the new regulation on slaughtering animals in Hamtramck homes. I don't support of the slaughtering animals in individual homes. Hamtramck is a small, dense, yet a highly populated city. Bringing animals for slaughter here would make it challenging to keep the city clean. Cities like Detroit, Warren, and Dearborn has a big Muslim population, but they are slaughtering animals at designated areas to keep the city clean and safe. Thank you, Mohammed. Mohammed Rahman. Hello, my name is Mohammed Rahman. I am a resident of the city of Hamtramck, Michigan. I also have a couple of rental properties in Hamtramck. In regards to the animal slaughtering law in Hamtramck, my opinion is that I disagree with slaughtering animals in the backyards of homes for religious purposes because it would make messes and it would also cause environmental concerns. I also spoke about the issue with my tenants and they also disagree with slaughtering animals in the backyard. Thank you, sincerely, Mohammed Rahman. This is Lahi Begum. I am against slaughtering animals at home. My kids get sick by watching it. Faris Al Samiri. We do not want sheep to be slaughtered in the city. This is from Zach Ahmed on behalf of Bengal Spices. Dear respected Mayor, I am writing to you in regards to Hamtramck City Council holding a public hearing on Tuesday, 1/10/2023 at 7 p.m. in the City Council chambers for a proposal which seeks to allow the slaughter of animals at home residents for religious purposes. I'm asking for your unwavering support in helping me and other concerned citizens to fight to not have this proposal passed. We are deeply concerned for the welfare and future of our city should this proposal be passed. Here are our reasons why passing this proposal will have adverse consequences for our community. As you are aware, our beloved city Hamtramck is a densely populated small town. What affects one house can affect several others. Housing animals in a home residence and later slaughtering these animals will emit noise and odor pollution and contaminate our environment. When a post-slaughter is not cleaned properly, such as removing the animal's skin or gills, smells of blood and flesh and bacteria can remain on properties, and it is extremely difficult to get rid of the odors. Furthermore, animals brought in for slaughter may contain sick animals, which can lead to diseases spreading throughout our small city. Our town is not farmland, where there is enough space for such activities. Not only is this sensitive sight and smell for a passerby, but we do not wish to traumatize children and affect their emotional health from witnessing or hearing the slaughtering process. If the city allows the slaughter at any or every household, Hamtramck will become a slaughterhouse rather than a charming small town. We will lose our city's appeal and residents will depart to other locations because our neighborhoods will be uninhabitable if these activities are permitted. We understand and respect the fundamental right of freedom of religion. However, according to Islamic experts, it is not obligatory to slaughter animals at home, and that a slaughter can be conducted at any permitted place so long as the slaughter and the premises are kept clean. Slaughtering animals at home is not necessary, nor is it hygienic, as Muslims in the city and other Muslim majority cities and states have been slaughtering animals at permitted locations for decades. Refusing to pass this proposal would not infringe on any religious privilege, as there are other alternatives and permitted locations for a slaughter to be conducted. Furthermore, allowing this proposal to pass will likely violate the regulations of the Food and Drug Administration, and this will lead to further legal complications. Not only that, it is likely that animal rights groups will take various steps against our city. We do not have the time or funding to fight this battle, since it is, as stated above, unnecessary for a slaughter to be conducted at a home resident. Additionally, the city of Hamtramck has a history of taking action against odor complaints, especially those stemming from animal slaughter. Let me remind you of an established business named Bengal Spices, currently located on Conant Street. Bengal Spices has been providing the Hamtramck community with Indian groceries, fish, meat, and poultry since 1987. In 2018, an individual took up residence in a house behind the store and started to complain about the noise coming from the chicken delivery trucks and the odor of businesses' animal slaughter. With each complaint came a ticket, usually $500 or more, issued by the DPW to Bengal Spices and even to the company that supplied the live chicken. Attorneys had to be hired by Bengal Spices to deal with each ticket. As a result of these complaints and tickets, Bengal Spices had to stop receiving the chicken delivery trucks from the back door of the store.
3 minutes are up.
It's unlimited. Who's saying that?
Unlimited?
It's unlimited for public hearing. Thanks for the interruption. Bengal Spices was even shut down for a month last year due to the chicken slaughter complaints. To resume its business practices, Bengal Spices had to pay $11,000 to reinstate its business license. Clearly, the city of Hamtramck takes its noise and odor complaints seriously. If this proposal passes and animal slaughter is permitted at homes in the city, what message is Hamtramck sending when it did not allow Bengal Spices to conduct its chicken slaughtering activities? Is this a new income strategy for DPW? By passing this proposal, will this mean that the city of Hamtramck will also shut down operations for every home-based animal slaughter anytime a citizen complains of a smell or odor? If so, this proposal is counterproductive and thus should not pass. If not, it would be hypocritical of the city to shut down a grocery store conducting an animal slaughter business and not take issue with animal slaughter at a home resident. I hope this letter is clear in stating our concerns regarding this proposal, and I hope we have your support in ensuring that our city remains a clean, healthy, and friendly environment. Thank you for your time and consideration. Sincerely, Zach Ahmed on behalf of Bengal Spice. This is from Frank Isham. Totally 100% against the barbaric and inhumane acts to proceed in the city of Hamtramck. Some radical residents want to change the landscape instead of being normal and making sense. We have butcher shops, many of them. But no, some of these uneducated foreigners want to make Hamtramck streets a butcher shop. Blood, feces, intestines, smelly sheep in the garages, alleys, backyards. You really don't know what the repercussions are if this passes. Most of the Muslim community is against this, but a couple of people have took advantage of the scenario and threatened other Muslims to not speak up, and if they did, they would be against Islam. Actually, in Arab countries and Muslim countries, this is not allowed. It's written in the law, but the laws are not implemented because the governments are corrupt and have bigger issues to deal with. Good afternoon. My name is Sultan Alodi. I live on Holmes Street in Hamtramck. I'm with the slaughter proposal, and I ask city council members to not restrict the right to pray our religion as we like. It goes against the Freedom of Religion Amendment. Also, there has been rumors going around the city that a city council member has his residence listed on his ID in the city of Hamtramck, but he does not live or reside in the city. If this could be investigated, because we don't want someone who doesn't live in the city to be a part of the city's council, and they don't even reside here. I am a resident of Hamtramck. My name is Mohammed Al-Sharai. Jacob Street, I'm against animal slaughter in the city of Hamtramck. Ibtisam Al-Sharai, I apologize. I want to say no for slaughter in Hamtramck homes. I am Abdul Wahid Al-Sharai, against slaughter in Hamtramck homes. My name is Kais Al-Halimi. My address is on Eveline Street. No slaughter in Hamtramck. Thanks. Hello, I am a resident of St. Aubin Street. This is Clear Nawak Boyd. I would like to express my opposition to the proposed animal ordinance. Cultural traditions are important, but I would prefer that animals not be slaughtered in my neighborhood. We all live in very close proximity here in Hamtramck. Your neighbor's house is just a few feet from your own, while there is a proposal to put up barriers so neighbors don't see it. Like many Hamtramckans, I live on the second floor. We would still see and hear it. I am not confident and safety measures would work. I'm not confident the safety measures would work. There's how inspection processes work in theory, and then there's how they work in practice when everyone is busy and resources are stretched. I don't want animal slaughter in my residential neighborhood. I am a Hamtramck resident. This is Shiuli Rahman. I don't support animal slaughter in my neighborhood. There are a lot of rats already in the city. My name is Mohammed Kassam. I'm against animal slaughter in our houses. Designated places are nearby to do so. Let's keep our city clean and safe for all residents. Rayan Fuad, no slaughter in Hamtramck homes. Anwar Kassam, I'm against animal slaughtering in our houses. Designated places are nearby to do so. Let's keep our city clean and safe for all residents. Saeed Ali Riza, city may set up or recognized a place where we can use to cut animals or does our Qurbani easily. Fee for cutting goat, cows may be fixed by city corporation for retails, only showing providing of residency in Hamtramck. City, look after administration, neat and cleanliness and open for 2 days in week. Halal process might be over here. Small pet animal, chicken, hen, Small pet animal, chicken, hen, pigeon, etc. may be allowed to cut in own house with some sort of condition like rubbish must be kept in black polythene properly tight and kept in a separate garbage can. Thank you, Syed Riza. I'm going to read this one. I should have read it on the first one, but since it was in emails in the entire stack. This is also from Claire Nawak Boyd. I support changing the employee handbook as proposed. As someone who has worked in municipal government in Michigan, I've heard people in my industry talking about the work environment at Hamtramck City Hall, and what they had to say was not positive. We need to take steps to change that and to be more competitive so that we can keep good people and attract good talent. The people who make our city work deserve to live well. Please update the employee handbook and look for other ways to make Hamtramck City Hall a better place to work. Thank you, Claire Nawak Boyd. I'll take that wow as a compliment. Thank you. Hold on, there's still more. Now the residents. MD Fakhrul Islam.
Assalamu ala man ittaba al-huda. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa wala. All praises due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, blessings and salutation upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Dear respected City Council and all of the brothers and sisters are here today. I respect all of them, and I want to tell you that like lot of city council meeting I missed, and so many people called me, and I spoke with so many people from Bangladeshi community and Arabic community, and today I have to come, I forced to come to the city council meeting. But this is the friendly force, not don't think other way. Okay. My talk today as a representative of Islam, Muslim community. Islam means peace, okay? And Islam is a very peaceful religion all over the world. Don't think like Islam is radical, no. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Quran, وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا. We are the nation of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who's in the middle way of the the nation. We are the middle way. We are not too extreme and not too low. Our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Khairul umuri awsatuha." We are the middle. We are not too extreme and not too low. Okay. Religious issue is sacrificing the animal. This is the religious issue. And we have to go back to the Ibrahim alayhi salam, who started sacrificing animal from the heavenly animal, how he did. And we have to go back to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We have to think how he did. We have to go back to our ashab,
Don't interrupt, please.
our
Whoever is interrupting, please don't.
our companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, however they did. We could do that like them as a following of the Sunnah. This is the first thing. You could open the slaughtering in the city, and you could make a rule to control the cleanliness. Our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, cleanliness is half of faith. Muslims should know that. Not only the slaughtering, we have to be clean for everything. Now we have so many bad smell in the city. Marijuanas, so many marijuanas in city. And so many bad things, LGBT. Nobody talking against of that. My 13 years old son, I did not know that. He said, Baba, I'm driving. And on Joseph Kumba, he said, Baba, last time one of the old guy, he used the marijuana and he killed himself in the parking lot of marijuana facility. I fought against of marijuana, everybody knows that. And my house, if you go to my house, you will see they shooted in my window. I reported to the police. I attacked so many times from them in front of the masjid. They tried to kill me. But we have to stand up for the right thing. We are all in brotherhood. We are not going to be divided. We are not going to be divided. This is not end of the world. If they allow to slaughter the animal in the city, we'll see. If our people don't clean, then I am the first person going forward to collect signatures and stop this ordinance. Second thing, the LGBT flags, which is,
Stay on topic.
one topic.
You're speaking on the public hearing regarding the ordinance of the animal ordinance.
Okay,
So stick to that topic, please.
Okay, I'm going to come for that again. Don't worry. Okay. Okay. The thing is the lawsuit. I heard that from other community. Mr. Mayor already mentioned that. Our city is very poor. So many times went to the state and so many strugglings. I am very related to the city. I know that. If I don't have a time, I try to contact our council members, so speak about the city, mayor, I try to contact them. If we got the lawsuit, then who's going to pay? Who's going to pay? And some other Muslim people, they are ready to go to the care of Michigan, and they could start the lawsuit. You know, the Sterling Heights city, they paid 1.5 million. They stopped to make mosque. The city of Troy, I went to the public hearing, first public hearing, more than these kinds of big gathering. They don't care about us. Then the Care Michigan, they put it the lawsuit, they got the lawsuit, and they paid big amount of the money, and they opened the mosque. Let's practice our religion. We are not stopping to practice other people's religion. We are very honored to the other people, and we are not stopping to them to practice their religion. Let us to practice our religion. If we don't clean, then I am again mentioning that I am the first person going forward to collect signature, and please don't think I am talking to get the satisfaction of the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you talk, you have to talk like all of the talking is, the counting. Every moment, everything are counting. According to our religion, 2 angels are in 2 shoulders. They are counting the bad thing from the left and good thing from the right. Okay? Don't think if you talk, I'm requesting all of you, talk like as a servant of Allah. And think about it, we have to face the judgment one of the day. And if we face the judgment and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala question us about this issue and we can't answer, then we're going to go to the hellfire. This is my, as a religious person, my humble request to all of them, please be calm, be gentle, and be respectful to each other. I saw so many bad arguments, so many bad things, so many bad talking. I don't want to hear that again. This is all I said. If I made any mistake, please forgive me. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive me. Wa akhir da'wana alhamdulillah rabbil alamin.
Is it Abdul Malik Al Dalag?
Dalali.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Abdul Malik. I live in Hamtramck for 15 years. I travel to many countries, especially in the Middle East. Some brothers Arabs know. This is not allowed out in the community. In fact, even if you ask a plumbing person about the sewer system, when you slaughter, you have blood, and so behind the wall of the foundation of the house, there's a clay, and usually it's about 3 feet long. In each connection, usually it fit in dirt through time. So what does that affect is when the blood is, it's gonna sit there. It's gonna affect the air. Okay? Assalamu alaikum.
I have Muhammad Al Dalali.
Yeah.
Okay, we talking about
Animal ordinance.
exactly that we didn't need to do it here in Hamtramck because they're gonna bring more bacteria, more insects. We're not coming to home and see some smile not go to our home or something like that. So we're not support that. If they support it in a mosque or something like that, some mosques is stop them like that, do it camping or something like camping is luxury. This is not the purpose for the mosque. So I think the basic we do not support it at all. That's all.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Muhammad Al Rafai, I believe. Is that what it is? Left? Okay, thank you. MD Udan? Oh.
Assalamu alaikum and very good evening to you all. Honorable Mayor, I am against the proposal. I am giving you two references. One, when Hazrat Ismail alayhi salam is ordered from Allah to sacrifice his son, beloved son, he did not do it in his doorstep. He take his son very far from his house and he tried to sacrifice him. Number two, in Makkah Mukarramah, when we sacrifice a lot of animals at a time of Hajj, we take all those animals in very far from the population. We all Muslims know that. So I'm against, that's why, because we don't make our city very dirty or very bad smelly. We all Muslim people know that the dead blood smell is very harmful. When we sacrifice our animals here and there, in our doorstep, in our backyard, definitely, very bad smell will get later few days. That will create some germs, some insects. So I am requesting you, everybody should consider this two reference and this thing and stop the ordinance. Thank you all.
Thank you, MD. I have MD Abdul Shah. Abdul Shah. Thank you. Walaikum salam.
So he's against the resolution.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Murad Saleh.
Murad Saleh, I'm here.
Thank you.
Thank you. I request to be last one.
Do you want?
Well,
is it
it's
regarding
not-
the
that's-
ordinance?
Yes. I'm not against. I'm not with. I just have to say, like, there is you in everything you said. There is the minority and majority rights, right? So I see the majority says no. What about the minority? Like the minority? Do we consider them? Is that by the Constitution? Is everyone has right? Is there a regulation that we can make both works, both ideas happen? There is something. There is some things to make everything both happening, both ideas happening, the cleaning and the rights for the minority. Also, this is not the priority of the city of Hamtramck. As everyone knows, the city of Hamtramck is in the bottom of the line. Can we bring it up to the line and then think about this cleaning? Cleaning is meaning everything cleaning. The slaughtering is once a year. But the dumpster is every day, every time. The trash is in the city every day. Also, as my job, I do heating, cooling. There is the basement. Every day you can't step on it. From like dog urine, like waste and urine, and cats and all this. Can the city consider that too? Just not slaughtering? Yes, slaughtering once a year. But there is daily things happening in the city. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Muhammad Islam.
Yes.
There are more Muhammad Islam. Is it Trowbridge?
It's Edwin.
Hello everybody, good afternoon, how are you? First of all, thank you everybody for letting me talk over here. Hello Mayor, he's my classmate, we graduated 2000 from Hamtramck High School, same time. So, first of all, I'm totally against the animal killing, that because of, we are living in world-class country in America, we have laws and regulations, and we have a Department of USDA, which is Department of Agriculture, you know, they are the inspectors checking the animal before we slaughtering. Oh, I'm sorry. Before we slaughtering the animal. So we know which one is for kill and which one is not for kill. This is a very, very
really health issue, guys, because when you kill the animal, there's a blood, there's a lot of contamination, there's a skin, and mostly a lot of the garbage companies, they don't take it. There have to be a special way to dispose of. From my experience, I work with the USDA since 2012, and this is a really ridiculous, catastrophic resolution bringing. Because of we have a kids, we have a lot of artistic kids. I don't want them to see the animal slaughtering. They will get traumatized. They try to kill themselves when they see animals killing. And number two, as a doctors, everybody here, we educated. We don't want to eat something is not proper way to sanitize. Number two is there's a certain way you have to process the meat. When you process the meat, you have to put it in the chiller for 2 hours. They have to get cold because they make a lot of bacteria. And I can talk all day about this, but I know everybody's time is important. Everybody's tired. They have to go home. The most important thing is what we are doing is we are saying, hey, USDA government, you guys stay behind me and we make the rules right here. I'm not against the religion. I'm not against anybody's. I respect all the religion. But look at that way. From 52 states, all the people are going to come here to slaughter their animal. Everybody related to everybody. Hamtramck is a small city, but from New York, we have a guest. People are coming like a rain from New York. I build the houses. I'm a developer. I just spoke with Carolyn Faulkner yesterday. City manager knows how many houses I already built, brand new houses. Now I stopped buying the lots because I don't know the crazy resolution is going to pass or no. Because people not going to come buy, they're not going to buy the houses for $350,000 because they're next door, they have to see animal killing. Another example, for 4th of July, we know there's no fireworks, but the police department cannot stop them. Every day there's fireworks, you know what I mean? So this is when we started, it's gonna be every day. It's gonna be very hard for DPW, they're gonna go crazy about this, they cannot control this, no way. And after that, all the residents have to bury the blood and everything in their backyard, just like a graveyard. Why we have a graveyard for? This is same thing. They're gonna put stuff in the backyard. The whole city is gonna be smelled. We cannot go outside the city because everybody is gonna think, oh, these guys are killer. Don't go to Hamtramck. I make the houses go more than $300,000. I did it myself. I built so many houses here. I did so many residents, so many construction. You know what I mean? I don't want to take everybody's time more, but this is a very health issue. I respect all the religion, but that's not the way to do this. Look at, we have 52 states. There are so many cities. I don't have it in my hand, but how come nobody does that? Only here in Hamtramck. Weird resolution. It's not for yourself. Do something good for the city, guys. I'm really honoring you. Please talk about how you can build the city, how you can make the towers, how you can clean the things, not going 100 years back. This is 100 years back. Even in our country, we have the area to take them. Be honest with you, this is whoever started, this is one of the worst. Since I'm living here since '96, I never seen any resolution like that. I think everybody is thinking about the health issue. Please think about your kids, your family, and the Hamtramck city. City of Hamtramck is in my blood. I live here since '96. And Mayor No, we went to school together. I graduated same year with him. I don't know, I'm sorry everybody, if I hurt anybody's feeling, but I respect all the religion. Even though we have a Jewish community, very big community, they do Hanukkah for the chickens, but they don't do it behind their houses because they don't want to traumatize their kids. This is gonna be, people will stop eating the meat. The problem is they're gonna get sick again the whole week, and the house is gonna be, the whole Hamtramck city, the drain gonna be stuck. Hard for the DPWs, hard for the city employees. I know all the city employees working so hard to put the city together. They are really trying. I even talked to all the USDA inspectors. They are gonna be so crazy about that. They're talking about it. And the animal lovers, they're gonna come against the city. This will be crazy. Every Eid, you're gonna see week before, animal everywhere. Everywhere in the porch, everywhere. Instead of, I could not explain to you guys. Instead of like you walking with the kids, you're gonna walk with the animals, you know. Thank you, everybody. I think everybody got my understanding. I'm really sorry if I hurt anybody. My name is Mohammed Islam.
Marrying the dogs and cats in the street.
Because you're a businessman.
No,
That's right.
hey. Keep it down, please. Keep it down.
Please.
Ahbab Tamim Edwin. Ahbab Tamim.
Yeah, he's coming. He's coming.
Good evening, everyone. I'm against with the killing animals like nearby us, nearing us, like it's gonna be affecting our community and if we go out somewhere else smelling bad and everything in summer, we go to places like in LA, everywhere smell very bad. So I'm against with this.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Good job.
Ajmal Ali Edwin.
Excuse me. He wrote my name, his name after me, so I think there is some problem.
They're not in order, sir. I apologize. What is your name? I can put you next if you're in a hurry.
You can
Okay.
see the other side of that paper.
No problem. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please,
I
take a 2 minutes,
just.
yeah, because people like me are
You'll be
getting-
next, sir.
Yeah, 2 minutes, okay?
No,
Can I get-
no. After Ajmal, you'll speak. I'll call you up next,
We
sir.
asked him to give everybody 2 minutes because
It's not 2 minutes. It's unlimited.
Why is unlimited right now? We can
Public hearings are always unlimited.
It depends on where you checked your box of where you want to speak. You checked the first box. That was a limited time, sir. Please.
So he's against this resolution.
Okay, thank you so much.
Can I come forward?
Yes, you said it's Muhammad Islam.
Yeah, thank you. I will take my time. Oh my God. Good evening, everybody. Yeah, I am against the proposal. I am a Hamtramck resident, Muslim by faith, and I don't want to repeat those things. Who oppose this proposal? I think that will be a waste of time for everyone. Just want to say a few things. Some people mentioned here the freedom of religion. We have the freedom of religion here. We can say our prayers. But we cannot force others to say prayers like in some countries, some Muslim countries. We can fast in Ramadan, but we cannot force these things to other people, like in some countries in the world. Also, we can sacrifice animals here in America. There is no problem with that. Only we have to do it in a regulated way, in designated places. So there is no question that our freedom of our religion is at stake. It is okay. Therefore, I am opposing this proposal. Also, I want to say that I talked to some people in my family, my relatives, people of my age, even younger people who will live here in the future, in this city, in this country. Most of them, they didn't find any logic in doing these things. And like me, they also were telling that why our city leaders, we are not focusing on some more important topics, problems, like speeding, like the nasty streets, like these kind of things. Maybe some few other things are there, but these are the most important issues for this city as of now. That's all for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mom. Noor Ali.
Hello everyone, peace be upon you all. My name is Noor Ali. I'm Director of Safe Spaces with CARE Michigan, and I'm here to talk to you all about the animal ordinance. So we have been contacted by concerned community members in Hamtramck that are disappointed by the current ordinance as it stands. It seems that it is calling for a complete prohibition of religious slaughtering. This is a violation of the U.S. Constitution. We are asking for an amendment of the ordinance where religious rights of people are met, as well as the rights of regulations here in the city in terms of cleanliness and sanitation. The city has a right to regulate religious slaughter to account for legitimate, compelling government concerns, so long as the manner of the regulations is narrowly tailored to address the compelling interest. We are disappointed by comments made that claim that the sacrifice of an animal on Eid al-Adha is not obligated in Islam, where in fact it is. This is not a disputed thing within the religion. Furthermore, it is as per the legal standard, it does not need to be compulsory practice for it to be protected by the law. Even if something is encouraged, such as the killing of an animal at the time of marriage or of a newborn, that is still protected by the law. And we are calling for that protection as well. We want to know what sort of regulations will take place should this ordinance continue on as it is. How will citizens obtain permits? How costly are they? And does it make it inaccessible for people with more modest means? We would like to know if people will be allowed to even slaughter an animal should they not be able to fill a time slot for someone to come out and inspect the area. Is the argument that if someone can't rush to City Hall and make an appointment, are they not allowed to do their religious obligation of slaughtering on Eid al-Adha? Should they wait another day, another 2 days, however long? This is, of course, again, an obligation of the religious rights of Muslims here. Islam is not a monolith, and even though there are people here who have said that it is not necessarily required, even though the KIR Michigan stance and the Islamic stance is that it is Sharia, it is required that we do it to commemorate the dedication Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, showed for his son Ismail. Yeah. So we are asking that the City Council works with KIR Michigan to amend this ordinance. KIR Michigan is fully prepared to take legal action should the City Council fail to take the opinions and desires of the citizens into account. We believe there are less restrictive means of protecting the interests of the city as it pertains to religious slaughter, and that it can be enforced in the way that all other ordinances related to rubbish and other harmful materials are enforced when there is an issue that is brought to the attention of the city. We welcome the opportunity to discuss and work with the city of Hamtramck in the same way we have worked with them previously for years. In terms of the complaints that citizens have brought up here and prior to this meeting and multiple city council meetings that I have watched online myself, we would like to have this information that these children are so scared of the slaughter that they even go as far as killing themselves. We do not have any statistics on that sort of thing, and that should be provided from the city if they are planning to go through with the current ordinance as it is. There is no reason for religious slaughter to be prohibited. It is protected by the U.S. Constitution and Michigan law. This is something that is done in other cities where Muslims are not even the majority. Muslims are protected in other cities, and they deserve to be protected here as well. The citizens of Hamtramck deserve that right. As a person born and raised here in Michigan, I have memories of classmates of mine going up north and deer hunting, which obviously my family did not partake in, but even my next door neighbor did. I have vivid memories of seeing deers on top of cars that were completely mutilated, and deers in the backyards of neighbors where their fathers would cut up the meat and skin the animal. This is not a new practice that is done, and this is not a practice that is only done by Muslims here in Hamtramck or the state of Michigan. I am hopeful that the City Council hears our plea, and I welcome working with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is it Mali or Mahi Paki? Is that what? Please state your name.
Mahi Paki.
Come on.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mahi Paki. I'm living at 2155 Belmont. I am opposed to this bill, slaughtering animals in basement alleys or backyard will create a bad smell and can lead to disease. Also, the drains will be destroyed and back up. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Mr. Nasser Hussain?
Assalamu alaikum. Hello, everyone. A lot of contradictions. Nobody wants it. I talk to my neighbors. Nobody wants it. My children, only a few people will do it. So if a few people will do it, don't worry. And at the same time, they say no. If you let people do it, everybody will slaughter. They will come from New York, slaughter. It tells you the logic of people who are against it. They're just doing this for I don't know what. There are like 4 slaughterhouses in Hamtramck. They slaughter chicken. One of them is Bengal spices. And one of them slaughter sheep and everything. And I assume most people here, they haven't been here all year long. They came today because they've been sent by these businesses to make sure it doesn't pass. It will affect their businesses. They will lose money. I was amused by Bengal spices. They said they gave him a ticket. You know why they gave him a ticket? He would have the delivery at 4 a.m. He's been getting away with it for like 15 years, only because his brother was a friend of the old mayor. There was no enforcement until lately, and the smell was bad. At the same time, see what happens with Bengal spices, another one, Lamine spices, slaughtering house. People used to complain. They said they make smell and they noise. The city went to them. Did they shut them down? No. They reached into an agreement where they reduced the noise and the smell. They got, I think, a big freezer where they put the carcasses in and everything was okay. So, and instead of just preventing everything, work with people. I'll give you an example. People speed in Hamtramck. Because a few people speed, we tell them we're going to prevent people from driving in Hamtramck. Why? Because some people, they speed, they might kill people, they hurt people. No. People continue speed, and those who break the speed, we give them a ticket. Same thing here. You allow people to slaughter. If what people claiming is true, they're going to make a smell, they're going to make a bad situation, give them a ticket. $800 will make more money for the city. That's a good thing to do. Exaggeration. Blood will block the sewers. Doesn't make any sense. 4 slaughterhouse. Each day they slaughter hundreds and hundreds of chicken, tens of cows, and nothing gets blocked. Misinformation. Same thing, claiming natural meat or blood is toxic. You should be worried about the factories around you that's producing toxic fumes and killing people. People say, I don't want my children to see it. And the ordinance says it has to be out of view. No children will see it. Even they see much more violent things today on TV, on the internet. They say nobody else does it. You could go to New York City, Todd, Yom Kippur celebration for the Jewish people of the Jewish faith. On the streets, on the sidewalk, they have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of chicken. They slaughter it not even in their houses, on the public street. And you could see, if you follow Facebook groups, you could see the videos they posted there. All lies are being spread. And I hope this resolution that you presented to be a compromise, in case it doesn't go through. We will put it for the voters to vote on it, but it won't be this resolution. It will be a much more lenient resolution. And we see what the majority says. I don't mind if the majority says they don't want it. But if they say they want it, it could be everywhere. Stores will be allowed to sell sheep, goats, like they used to do in the 50s, 30s, 40s. Or we'll remove all restrictions. So it's up to you. You could choose this, or we'll have our resolution put on ballot. Thank you.
Thank you. Is Yoshiro Lee still here? No? Lynn Blasey?
Hello again, Mayor and Council. As we see today, and have seen since July 12th when this was first brought up, this is a very nuanced discussion, and that has swung multiple different ways. In December, we have the language that is before you now with a compromise. And I just encourage you to be encouraged that even though this is long and tiring and challenging to sit through, that our community is here at a meeting. We'll look on the bright side with that. And I'm glad to see people engaged and involved in this discussion. And I just want to encourage you to really pay attention to the legal ramifications of however we possibly edit the resolution today, and really work to make sure that it's legally sound, because as other people have said, that we really can't afford lawsuits. Some people are very tired of this issue, of talking about it. But personally, I'd rather it be talked to until there's a resolution than just a quick fix slapped on it that doesn't really address the concerns of the community. And I also just encourage you to listen to the legal counsel that we have. We pay them big bucks to make sure that we are as kept as free from lawsuits as possible. So, no pressure, Bodie.
There's no pressure. I can't wait to.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, just whatever you decide, really pay attention to the legal side. I know all of us have feelings involved, and sometimes you have to set your feelings aside, your religious preference aside, to make a decision that's the best for the whole community. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Mr. Bill Meyer?
Hello, Council Mayor. I remember when I was a kid, like 7 years old, maybe 10, I used to visit my family on the farm. I used to watch how they slaughtered their animals so they could eat them. I mean, that's what we do. We all eat meat, but most of us eat meat, and we have to kill the animals before we eat them. And they let me kill chickens for the first time in my life. And the way they did it was they had a little stick, and they put 2 nails in it, and they put the chicken's head between it. And then they had an axe, and they just went chop, and the head fell off. And the chicken would get up and run around like this with no head on until they fell over and died. And then they take them in, pluck them, and eat them. It disgusted me when I saw that. I mean, I developed more compassion for animals. I kept eating chickens, unfortunately, because I love chicken and all that. So I just want to say I don't like the idea of killing animals, except for self-defense or in the best interest of society. Maybe it has to be done. And I don't think one person's religious belief should be imposed on any others. But I'm a meat eater, and like many of you, I don't want to be hypocritical here. I'd like to see the day when we don't have to kill other living beings in order to survive, including animals that share similar feelings of pain and suffering like we do. We have to concern about animals. According to some who practice Islam, slaughtering animals is a reminder that life is sacred. It was originally considered as a sacrifice, so others less fortunate or needed food were given food to survive. But times have changed now. We have other ways of helping people who are less fortunate than killing animals. And by being opposed to animal slaughtering, by the way, in Hamtramck, it doesn't necessarily mean you're Islamophobic. That doesn't go together at all. But I would like to help you resolve this issue and others that come before you, other issues that are difficult. Before you make important decisions, make sure you understand all the facts that you can get at, that you've talked to all the relevant parties and understood their positions, not just the ones who come here, which is exciting that we have people actually coming here and expressing their opinion. It's not usually this full at council meetings, and this is what the democratic process is. But when there's only 2 people here, you still have to go out and find out what people are feeling. And you have to make sure that you've listened to your constituents and that your associates in the council with open ears for each other. And that you know the possible consequences if this resolution passes or doesn't pass. I hope you are aware of this because we learned about the parking meter thing. A lot of things you make decisions on, it kicks you back later. So prepare for any backlash. And then also be respectful to each other by knowing Robert's Rules of Order, which usually has a big book here so that we all run this process correctly. So this issue, like most others, have different areas of concern. One is how it's going to affect the safety and security of the community. That's a very vital concern, which most people have been talking about. It's also how will it benefit or be a detriment to the city, the community, by having this. People have talked about that. It's very, very important to take into consideration. How many people are perceived to be in support of this? How many are against it? If you go to the ballot, if you don't go to the ballot, you don't know. So how will the process and the final decisions affect the working relationships between council, mayor, and other associates here, and between the public and the officials? And I want to make sure, are people defending their position when you come to the vote? Are you defending your own personal interests, your own cultural beliefs, or are you considering the larger community of the whole city of Hamtramck, which you all each represent? So those are all factors that have to be taken into consideration, and more, I'm sure. But so as I mentioned in the past, I'm very impressed with this working relationships in this council that you've developed since you've gotten together. The respect shown to each other, and the community has not been seen in these chambers for decades. This is definitely the best that I've ever seen since I've lived here, as far as letting everybody talk and present their point of view with respect. You know, the rational, clear-minded process of dealing with critical city issues is the basis for solving our problems. This animal sacrifice issue seems to be a small, less important issue. That it should be secondary to most critical issues, but obviously it's important to many people, and they wouldn't be here. And we're watching how you proceed in the democratic process to be fair, because it's going to apply to every other issue that comes up. In the last council meeting, I got the impression that the mayor and a select committee met and researched ways to find a compromise. And you presented it at the last council meeting. Yes. And I think this was a valiant approach, hoping that both sides, all sides, would accept this willingness to compromise. If one side doesn't want to compromise, then you're out of luck. Because there's strong feelings on both sides in the community. I respect each of you, and by possibly taking the opposite position, that what I'm going to say, I don't want to disrupt any relationships or friendships with anybody, but I think we must be focused on maintaining a constructive and working relationship with everybody and with the public in order to go forward. That's why I feel that this issue should be put on the ballot. The public should vote. Remove yourself from being the individual that made this decision, to be attacked by the public or whatever. I think the public has a voice. They've made a voice here. I think the best way, the most democratic process, would be to find a way to let everybody in the city have an option to vote yes or no for this. So I'm recommending that you vote, you have to vote no on this ordinance, and then make a motion to put this ordinance on the ballot. That means that frees you, and that doesn't mean you have to take sides in this ordinance. It means you are against deciding it here. You're for deciding it in the public venue. Okay, so finally, I want to say that I've heard of a second version of this ordinance that the public, most public doesn't know about. This ordinance, I think the council was given copies of it, and the public doesn't realize that this new version, which I'll call version 2, which you can consider, may not happen or not, but I guess you can consider this, as opposed to voting this one down and making a second version. Either one, I think, should be considered to be put on the ballot. But for the public's knowledge, this new version that's being offered eliminates some very important facts that we're all concerned about. One is it removes the 3 conditions that you have to reach to do this. One is to provide a day and date for your slaughtering to the city, get a permit. Second thing is to have a sanitation inspection after it's done. And the third is to keep it out of the view of the public. These 3 have been removed from this new version. And I have a feeling this was for fear of lawsuits. I think our attorney was involved in trying to rewrite this so that we can possibly avoid lawsuits. But as we've heard today, you're going to get lawsuits from any side. You're going to get lawsuits from the animal rights side, you're going to get it from the Islamic side, you're going to get it from different side. I think trying to find a compromise is the best way. And I think you did a good job coming up with a compromise, version 1. But if you go to version 2, that still should go to the public, and that still should be decided by the people. Because we don't know. Some of you have told me personally that only 2% of the people in this city would support this. Well, maybe someone else would tell me at least half the people might support this. So we don't know how many people. We've heard a lot of people speaking here. These are the ones who came here because they have strong feelings about this issue. There's many who, like they said, don't speak English, so they don't come in to give their point of view. So we really don't know what the real balance is in the city. If 100 people came here and spoke opposed to it, that doesn't mean 100% of the city are opposed to it. So I think to be the safest bet would be to put it on a ballot. That's my proposal. Vote no, and then vote to put it on a ballot. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Abdul Khalik?
Yes, good afternoon again. This resolution is a resolution about this two slaughterhouse, which that gives longer speech, which is one in email, Bengal Spice, and other one is your colleague. They said all these things because of their sake of their business. They want their people to go to their place. So they will just keep talking to not to allow this. Like I said, this is our religious part, and we need to practice, and it's our constitutional right. Those people who are mostly here, they talk against it. They are saying about environmental issue, smell, bacteria. None of bring any of the evidence. I don't ask for that 20 years back, 5 years back, 10 years back. Just bring it for if we have any issue, any proof from last year, a drop of blood or bacteria, or any of your kids get mesmerized or get fainted to see. No, they are just talking from their tongue. None of them have this proof. So this is not we should look at for them. They are just people talking about. They have no knowledge. They don't have no proof. Why I say something? So I'm asking is for this regulation to pass it, and I hope all this council members are present. And if they do, like I said, if this is good. If it's not, then we are going for lawsuit. This is our constitutional right. And any those who support us, those council members, we are supporting for their future in election. And one of our council members, even if we search and we have all evidence, he is not even residents from the Hamtramck. We are not going hard. If it's go against, we're going to look for the deeper investigation. So I hope all this member who will pass this regulation and just finish this issue for the slaughtering. And it's good for and been practiced for many years in Hamtramck. Nobody had any issue until the member bring this issue, and we have no proof for any mess. So why you go for this illusion things? Then we're gonna have a blood, the bacteria things. This is completely illusion. This is baseless for their talk. So please support and pass this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
السلام عليكم مرة ثانية. لما نتكلم عن القانون شيء، ولما نتكلم مثلا عن الانتخابات شيء. إذا حبيتم تنزلوها بالانتخابات أهلا وسهلا، نزلوها ونزلوا العلم بالانتخابات. نسحب العلم من هذه اللجنة ويكون هناك تصويت. هذا شيء. الشيء الثاني، الأخوة اللي ضد الذبح، لابد إنه نحن نعرف حاجة اسمها القانون، الدستور. لو أن القانون هذا قلنا على الأغلبية أو كذا، هل كان في مسجد الآن في أمريكا؟ من الأغلبية المسلمين ولا غير المسلمين؟ بالتأكيد إنهم أغلب المسلمين. هل في كنيسة في أمريكا؟ طبعاً ما فيش كنائس. فلو فتحنا الباب هذا سنفتح باب كبير من الفوضى يعني إلى ما لا نهاية. الأمر الآخر، أنا سمعتم فيه إشاعات الله أعلم. أنا أريد من العمدة وأن يتحقق من الموضوع هذا ويتابعه، إنه في هناك يعني الإيميلات التي ترسل إلى هنا يعني ترسل من كمبيوتر واحد، من شخص واحد أو من شخصين. فأنا أشتكم لو حتى ترجم لهم يعني وتحققوا من الموضوع هذا. الأمر الثاني، أعتقد أكتفي، أنا أحتفظ بعض الكلام لا بعد. إذا كان الآن المحامي جاهزة من منظمة كير، والآن القانون بيدكم والكلام. إذا كانوا أقلة يا أخوة بدون ما حيض، إذا كانوا أقلة الذين يذبحوا خلاص اتركوهم احجبوهم مارسوا القانون حتى لا تخسر السيتي مئات الآلاف من الدولارات. شكرا.
Thank you. Is it Sugar
Al-Madrahi. Yeah,
Thank you. That's the name I was trying to say.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I spoke of what I was trying to make slight. Oh, sorry. Everyone, he's trying to make his own. So everyone has to be above the law. Right? Numbers. Sorry. Okay. I talk about three things. That's all. Clear. When we thinking, like get together and have the city clean, and thinking about that flag, what they didn't give us compound, and thinking about the meters, thinking about clean the city. We have facility for that, kill that lamb stuff. So I'm against what they thinking. There's two people that want bought that in here, and they're making a drama. We against that. Thank you.
Thank you. Hamid Al-Hajjaj.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أنا مع القرار الذي يدعم الحقوق، وإحنا بشريعتنا لنا حق ومن حقنا إن إحنا نأخذه، بس وفق ضوابط وشروط. النظافة، يكون هناك باقات مخصصة للنظافة بحيث لا تكون هناك رائحة، وكل واحد يمارس حقه الديمقراطي. الدستور كفل لنا ذلك. وشكرا.
جزاك الله خير.
Do they need to be translated?
If you want to say where he stands, if you want to say yes or no.
Okay, so the last speaker just said we have to guarantee that we practice our rights, but with regulations. That's the main thing he wants. Sheikh Yasser said, because he talked a lot, we didn't translate, he said if you wanted to be put in the ballot, he said put the LGBT flag with that too. And just to clarify one point, few speakers spoke in Arabic earlier and were pointing to us that we ordered flying the flag in Joseph Camp. We talked about that a lot. It was not a decision by the city council. It was the human relations decision. We talked about that. We had nothing to do with that issue that happened earlier. So do not keep bringing that issue and accuse us that we decided. We did not decide on the flag issue earlier that happened last year. It was the human relation and we talked about it, and it was decided without a meeting, so there was an issue also with the quorum. Sheikh Yasser thinks that most of the emails were sent from one computer and he wanted that to be investigated, thinking that it's just one person or one family that sent all these emails. And again, we do not, if you want a fair survey, it has to be done randomly, random samples, because this, I heard, like 5 people from the same family twice. So yeah, this is not a random fair survey, we know that. But he's thinking that we should investigate that, which this is like 100 people who came or sent emails. Does not fairly represent the population of Hamtramck, we know that. And but we thank them all for coming and sharing their opinion with us, and we listen to every single person and we take it into consideration. And he said that some people think it's only 2% of people who practice it. He's thinking, then why exaggerating this and making it sound like the city would be a mess if it's only 2% of people. That's basically what he was saying.
Thank you. Jamal Al-Ghazali. Oh, that was not Jamal, that was good enough, okay. Who's me there? Okay. No Jamal Ghazali? Okay, next. Al-Walid Saleh. 3, 2, 1. Hussein Al-Shayef.
السلام عليكم. نحن عرب مسلمين جينا من أقصى الأرض ونحترم قوانين الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية فوق رؤوسنا، ونحن ملتزمين بالقانون الأمريكي ونريد النظافة لمدينتنا. أما اللي يبغى يذبح فهناك في فارم وهناك في مراكز بلدية يذبح كم شو يروح البيت. والسلام عليكم. كثر الكلام ما قل ولا.
Thank you. Do you want to translate, Mayor?
Yeah, he said we came from overseas. We respect the law and order in this country that allows us to practice our religion, and whoever wants to slaughter should go to designated areas.
Thank you. Abdulaziz Al-Ghazal?
Yes. Thank you, everyone. First of all, I think we heard a lot of talking about this case. Most of them said no, just like a few people said yes. But if we discuss how is the city alleys, if the city council like just take a few minutes to check how's the trash all over and the sewer already bad. So if we allowed people to do this one in their houses, I think it's gonna be like it causes for a lot of diseases. Because there is like we're in a bad city, seriously. Like if we compare this Hamtramck with others or with Detroit, I don't know, sometimes they come in late to pick up the trash. If they leave it for a couple of days like later, it's gonna be like worse. Please, before we decide to do this thing, we should think like seriously about this case. A few people need to do it, they can do somewhere else, like how we do like all the time. We've been here since 2011, and some people been here since like for 20 or 30 years. They've been doing this like religion thing, but the law allowed him to do it. There is nothing wrong, but like in special places. If we allow it to do this one in a city, it's gonna be worse. I think everybody know that, but I don't know why they're trying to argue with the government or with the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Mohammed Samad? Mohammed Samad? No? Okay, how about Shawkat Rahman? Shawkat Rahman? No? Is it Mufizam Rahman? I'm assuming they're probably together, and they're both not here. Zabed Shiraz? No? Hamyar Al-Jamali?
Good evening. My name is Hamyar Al-Jamali. First, I'd like to start by thanking the mayor for appointing me. Secondly, I agree with the mayor. I think we do need a compromise. I feel like each side does have their points and each side is correct in their own way and their concerns are important. I feel like the compromise is the best way that we could solve this issue, because if it goes to ballot, it's going to go one way or the other, and there will still be people who will make this an issue. So I just wanted to say that. That's probably the best way to do it. And, you know, I just hope that we can, that the issue of regulations can be discussed with community members, and CARE said that they would help with that. And I feel like that's just what needs to be, we just need to be transparent about which regulations are going to be enforced, how will they be enforced, and just pretty much agree on a middle ground. And I think that's the best way to do it. Thank you so much.
Mr. Mayor, that's all for public comment.
Okay,
Mr. Mayor, if I may. As you're aware, the city administration works really hard to try and realize council and mayor's vision on all of our ordinance, all of our policies, and so on and so forth. We've come up with many drafts to do so and continue to even work on it over this past weekend, even after the last draft was up before us. I would like to give our city attorney an opportunity to speak on the latest draft that we have come up with. We did provide each of you hard copies of the same, and the city attorney is prepared to speak about it and read it in its entirety if necessary, though, so that the public is aware of what the city administration and the city attorney proposes. As always, we don't propose things based on ideology. We propose it based upon what we believe is in the best interest of the city as far as liabilities and protections for the city. Ode, if you will.
Thanks, Max. So that's correct. I'm your legal counsel. I'm turning into a political question, it seems, but really this is kind of a legal question here. And we put together some new language, but before I read the language, I just want to preface it by saying I think many people might be surprised to know that public animal sacrifice is allowed in every city in the state. In fact, the state of Michigan allows it. There's a statute that allows animal sacrifice. Not only that, but the federal government allows it. There's a statute in the federal government statutes that you can look up. Same thing. So what we've done here is basically codified almost the exact same wording as the state and the federal government. Just fit it to our specific statute. So it is already allowed. We're just reinforcing that. We've removed all the restrictions, because, and I'll get into that in a second, as to why we had to remove the restrictions and why I believe that's the correct legal avenue to take. But I'll read the statute first, so everybody has an understanding of what we've changed it to, and then I'll just explain why. And remember, this is almost the exact same thing as the Michigan statute and the federal government. It says, nothing in this chapter shall be construed to prohibit, abridge, or in any way hinder the religious freedom of any person or group. Notwithstanding any other provision of this chapter, ritual handling of or other preparation of livestock for ritual slaughter are exempted from the terms of this chapter. For the purpose of this section, the term ritual slaughter means slaughter in accordance with the below definition. To conform with the provisions and intent of this chapter, animals not previously rendered insensible and to be slaughtered in accordance with a humane method as defined in the definition below shall be slaughtered immediately following total suspension from the floor as otherwise prescribed by city and state law, which is what's done in a slaughterhouse. Next page is the definition of humane method. It says humane method means either a method whereby the animal is rendered insensible to pain by mechanical, electrical, chemical, or other means that is rapid and effective before being shackled, hoisted, thrown, cast, or cut, or a method in accordance with ritual requirements of any religious faith whereby the animal suffers loss of consciousness by anemia of the brain caused by the simultaneous and instantaneous severance of the carotid arteries with a sharp instrument. And then we included residents conducting religious sacrifice shall dispose of all waste in accordance with local, state, and federal law. So, why did we do this? Well, it's not really our choice. It's actually the Supreme Court has come up with a ruling in 1993. There was a case called Lukami Abalu, the Church of Lukami Abalu versus the city of, I can't remember, Hialeah, the city of Hialeah in Florida. So this church wanted to open a church in Florida, and part of their religion was animal sacrifice. The city of Hialeah didn't want animal sacrifice, didn't want that church, and didn't want that religion in their city. So they passed ordinances very similar to the one we were trying to pass originally that restricted animal sacrifice in numerous ways. In fact, much of the reasons that they restricted it were echoed today, such as children viewing it, or the remains being disposed improperly, the ickiness factor, you could call it, anything you want to, anything you've all said today has been echoed in that ruling. So what did the Supreme Court say? The Supreme Court said that when you're trying to regulate religious freedom, and according to the Free Exercise Clause of the Constitution, which people call freedom of religion, if you're trying to regulate religion under that, in this specific type of case, it has to have a compelling governmental interest, and it has to be narrowly tailored. So that sounds like it gives us an avenue here to restrict in a narrowly tailored fashion. However, they go on to say that it should be only allowed in very rare cases. So I ask you, if in 1993 they had almost the same facts as we have today, and the Supreme Court said that the ordinances restricting animal sacrifices were overturned, then what's been changed today? What different argument are we making than was made then? There aren't any. Unfortunately, for those who do not want animal sacrifice to proceed, we can't do anything about that. The Supreme Court has already stated that we can. If you want to protest, you can go to the Supreme Court, state legislature, Congress. we're really either, we could stand mute today. No, thank you. We could stand mute today and remove all mention of animal sacrifice in our ordinance and pass it without that, and it would continue to be allowed under state law, federal law. So we don't even have to mention it. But if we did, which we are today, and I read it, it's just reiterating the state and federal law. So putting it on the ballot would only serve to continue this discussion further. And then once, let's say it was passed through the ballot and restrictions were allowed, we'd get a lawsuit, it would be overturned as unconstitutional. Whatever avenue you take here, restricting animal sacrifice has been taken before. And as the Supreme Court said in '93, you can't do it. Part of the reason, I'll explain, is because animal sacrifice or animal butchering is allowed in a commercial fashion. I heard mentioned that there's 4 different places in the city of Hamtramck that do butchering. If they're allowed to butcher, then people should be allowed for a religious purpose too. And I know it might not make sense to everyone, but it is what the Supreme Court said, and I urge you to read their judgment. So I can only see one path for the Honorable Council and Honorable Mayor here, and that's to, well, 2 paths. One, to codify the state and the federal language the way I read it, or just eliminate any mention of animal sacrifice, pass this ordinance, and allow it to go on as it has always gone on, and since '93, protected by the Supreme Court.
Do we have a right to ask a question?
Can we please close public comment before we carry on? Thank you.
I'll motion to close the public comment.
Second.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, as the city attorney said, it's the city administration's best advice to adopt the language our city attorney has researched and provided to you tonight as read in its entirety, and move on.
And I'd like to just add, I'm sorry, because I didn't include this previously. I know there are worries about children witnessing it done on, for example, someone's front lawn, they go out and there's children on the street playing, and that's not conducting yourself in a manner that's under state and federal law or city ordinances. That's a disturbance of the peace. You're disturbing the peace around you. That's a misdemeanor. So that can't be done. Or, for example, I've heard complaints that once it's done, some people have the entrails put in their garbage instead of like people are disposing of the entrails in their neighbor's garbage. That's a trespass. That's a misdemeanor. If something like that happens, report it. We'll ticket them and we'll prosecute them. But otherwise, animal sacrifice not just should be, but must be allowed.
We need to motion to.
Not
to close.
To discuss.
Discuss.
That's why I'm going.
Alright,
I'll make a motion to discuss.
Second. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, with permission, what our city manager and attorney spoke, maybe we have to amend this resolution, which was modified by the attorney, and feed it to the suitable and comfortable for everybody. So Mr. Attorney, should we do amendment right now?
Yes, I think you should amend it to
this one,
to the one that I've provided. And I actually do want to include a removal of the penalty for religious sacrifice.
Okay. So, Mr. Chair, I like to amend the resolution drafted and again remove the couple of sentence from the attorney. So I like to amend this resolution as it is, right?
With just the elimination of Part B of Section 90.999.
Okay,
That was
Part B.
incorrectly included.
Okay. With the eliminating Section B, I like to amend this resolution.
Second.
I got a second.
All right.
Now discussion.
Okay, so we, in the beginning, I want to thank everyone who came today and voiced their concern. I have heard those over the past month and past several months from so many people. I attended so many meetings for community leaders, for people, and I heard from everyone. And I know there is a division and there's different views in the community. But I also heard from the specialists, the legal people, that's why I was concerned. I know that emotions is involved in so many public comments today. Some of them are very enthusiastic with or against, but also it's my responsibility to protect the city from any lawsuits or from, financial loss or and even our reputation. So I had to talk to so many lawyers. Basically, the main one is our attorney, and he also discussed and did so much research. We are not just doing it just for fun or based on our beliefs or emotions. So after hearing from our attorney and from people who know the law better than us, that's why I suggested a compromise. Compromise that can take into consideration people who are worried about the safety and cleanliness of the city. And we heard multiple views. Some people saying it's only 2% of people. Some people, I heard that there's only 10 people who sacrifice in the city. So they are saying, okay, then those people have been doing it for years, and maybe it's the same people who continue to do it. I myself, if this passes today, will advocate for people to go outside of the city to slaughter, even if it's allowed. And I heard from some sheikhs who fight so hard for it, saying that they will take themselves to the farm and do it there, even if it's allowed here. So we have a responsibility to educate the community. This is a common sense, respecting your neighbors, proper waste disposal is a must. Hiding it from public view is a must. You cannot just do it randomly in the street. And if the majority of the people taking the other view are saying the majority of the people don't want it, then I'll recommend that they don't do it, so we don't have a mess in the city. And we will educate the other side not to do it either, even if it's allowed. But people who are very passionate about it and very enthusiastic and they enjoy practicing it themselves, I mean, as you heard from the attorney, we cannot prevent them from doing that. And so our research and compromise came based on legal advices, not based on emotions and just self-interest or anything of that. So again, I personally would support whatever the advice of our attorney. And
Mr. Chair. So, lots of residents here today. I'm sorry, I have a high pressure today going on. I came only for this one. My pressure was 193, 135. Still, that's something. So, emergency. I was going, and city manager picked me up from the home. Some residents has a question about this one. Why we brought it here, wasting our time? Yeah, it is true. Like attorney said, it was already there. I've been longest councilman is here. It is already there. So suddenly, our committee tried to prohibit what was there already. That's the way issue started. When you try to close the door, somebody inside, and he want to try to get out from the home, either window or the other way. If he did not close it, it was easy path to go and come. So when we try to close the door, then somebody say, KIR say, or other groups say, hold on. They try to close the door for us. Now we want to find out the window to go. So that is exactly happened. Those things came to the resolution as it is today. So again, we have spent a lot of time for this. We have to, no matter what, when I had oath, I promise I'm going to support best interest of my Hamtramck city. It is not the personally yes and no. It's not. What decision I'm going to make today? I'm supporting my Hamtramck city protecting my Hamtramck city, protecting my residents, going after lawsuit, increase the property tax. So I'm protecting from all those things. That is my responsibility. That is my duty. That's why I'm here today to support it. And again, personally, I'm not gonna do myself. There is some criteria we did it, but I cannot prohibit somebody else to not doing this. No, I'm not doing. It's okay. I go somewhere else. But somebody wanna do it, they have right to do their practice. Some residents, some of the my friends here, only couple of houses gonna do it. So there is couple of houses cannot make the Hamtramck city blow up with the nasty blood contamination. No, because it's already 4 slaughtering house in this city. If they're not contaminating, how are this couple of houses gonna do it? Second, there is the criteria we set up. You have to have the permission. You have to have that's why city know exactly which house is there doing that. There is another good news. Mr. Saleh Al-Jahin, he donate $1,000. I donate $1,000. Some other people wanna donate lots of money to bring the big container, keep it in the designated area at the corner. Then within few hours, they have to take everything to the container, and there's the time limit within 5 or 6. How city gonna set that up? Within this hour, that container has to go out from our Hamtramck city. The house, we get a permission to do this. We personally, city and community, we're gonna make the committee, observation committee, like a organization like a CARE, come with us. That's why nobody can sue. We're gonna go a spot check to the backyard or where you did it. If any drop of blood up there we see over $700, there is the ticket ready, and could be the misdemeanor. So the people who gonna do this, they already know what kinds of system, criteria, everything we have to follow. So with all those, one of the gentlemen said we're gonna work with the goat or sheep. It's not. There is the time frame also. City gonna make it. There's the other thing. Long time ago, we approved the chicken. Nobody knows, and our city clerk never recorded that one. And I was here. I was against that, but it was passed. So I didn't see any chicken, and my kids are walking around with that one. But there is some chicken also. I see that. So the animal means animal. That there is a cat. Every day I see around my house 5-10 of them. I enjoy with them. So they are the animal too. Excuse me. We cannot. So we have all the plan. Just want to tell the resident, we have all the plan. Is everybody not going to be doing that? There is a time frame. There is the restriction. There is the permission. So what I am doing today as a your elected official, I'm going to protect my Hamtramck city and my residents. Thank you.
A couple things, Mr. Mayor, with your permission. I know Mr. Mayor Pro Tem mentioned some of the restriction, but according to Bill Meyer, some of the restrictions will be taken away from this. So how the people know those are restrictions there? We have to write it down, we have to show it to people, because some of the restrictions will be taken away according to the attorney.
I didn't hear the question.
People also, secondly, according to Bill Meyer, I like the ordinance for the slaughtering. There's nothing wrong with it. You know, everybody has the right to do their religious practice.
I understand.
But according to Bill Meyer, the new draft did not publish to the public. So when they're speaking on the previous draft. So if he challenges that we pass something not been published, not been shown to the community, is there a violation for this? This is
No, this is a public hearing, we can modify it.
Modify
right now.
anytime, any moment.
And in addition to that, our city attorney did read it verbatim
Yep, it's already
to the public as well. In public hearings past, public comes in and speaks to the ideology, we support, we don't support, we give the reasons, what they believe they want, and generally council then picks and chooses at that time what it is. So we're 100% within tradition of how we've done it.
Also, Mr. Mayor, when it comes to the sacrifice, what my point is take from there, I hear about the USDA, I hear about the CARE, I hear about the attorney's statement. My belief is should have been apply all the legal compliances. We should find a designated area where we can do sacrifice the animal if someone wishes to do it in our city, and then they can bring it to their backyard or their garage and they do a barbecue and, you know, celebrate the celebration. Because celebration is not only one day eat, there's a celebration multiple days. You know, we sacrifice when we put our kid's name. We sacrifice many other ways. So make sure all those been compliance, make sure all has been, you know, as I said, I'm not opposed to the ordinance, but it has to be written clearly, make sure people understand what they are hearing. Because we have to value everyone. The people that are taking their time came here, you know, talk before us, they want to listen to them too. People that came in, they're supporting, even though they are look like minority, but we have to listen both sides. So we need to, how can we make this compromise, coming out with a good solution? My recommendation to, with your attorney, if we need to involve the state, we need to involve the state, involve the CARE, and get a final draft, and, you know, then we vote for it. Or put it to the ballot if this is what council wishes.
Mr. Chair.
So let me address that. So in this language that was written, it says for any religion. So we did not specify if it's for Muslim or not, in any kind of celebration. So it's open. With the restrictions that we put, it was the legal advice that it should not be written the way it was written
Supreme Court and
it will be subject to lawsuit. Again, after so much research that our attorney did, he thought that it was a bad idea to write in the way it was written. Designation area, we talked about this last time so much, and we even called some investors to come and do, you know, some people who have money to come and invest in that thing. But it's going to take time. So we talked with each other that we can put this for 365 days of observation and evaluation. And if things turn out to be bad, it's always, the door is open to come back, reconsider it, ban it, and I will be the first one to advocate for that if it doesn't work. But if it's allowed by the state and the federal with no restrictions, then just follow our legal advice, our attorney, and just give it a try.
Right, the only restriction is to humane method. It must be done in a humane method. So there is a restriction, but it's just the restrictions allowed, or that the state and the federal government thought comply with the Supreme Court ruling.
So would there still be a penalty then? If it was done in
Yes, there's a
humane
default penalty of a misdemeanor, even though we're removing that Part B. So if you're not doing it in a humane method, there is definitely a penalty, yes. And then again, there's also ordinance violations if you're doing it in such a way that's violating the community health or safety.
Mr.
So what can you slaughter though? Is it a home or you don't?
Inside your home, as long as you're, you know, or I'm not gonna actually. I don't. It's wherever they'd like to do it, as long as it's not in violation of our community health standards. That's the correct answer there. And basically, what that means is, as long as they're not
street?
As long as they're not basically causing, as everybody has complained about already, issues with regards to the blood and the guts and all of this. I mean, if you're disposing of it in such a manner that's not in compliance with the law, we will ticket you. But that's not to say that we're restricting animal sacrifice. Anybody that violates that does such a practice is going to get ticketed. Anybody that disturbs the peace is going to get ticketed or arrested. So it's just a continuation of the law that's already there and has been practiced. So that's it.
Is it safety to do at home? So this is another question. I mean, I understand that the plumber came out and he's about the plumbing issues. So
I don't know anything about the plumbing issues or anything like that, but again, if you're messing up your own plumbing, you're going to pay, I mean, in my experience, tens of thousands of dollars to fix it, so good luck.
That's what I'm
Also,
saying, why can't you make a designated area where you can go and
well, a
start?
designated area would be a violation of the First Amendment freedom of religion. So that's again part of that case, is that you have to have your restrictions be narrowly tailored. And in this case, it wouldn't be narrowly tailored saying that it has to be at a specific location, unfortunately. You'd be preventing at least some people of practicing their religion in such a way that they'd like to do it. So, no, I don't think it would be proper to restrict it to a specific location, unfortunately. Although I would encourage people, I would definitely, I think Councilman Hassan's pledge of $1,000 and another business, and anybody that liked to do that, sure, and then provide a location and a means of private and clean and safe slaughter, that's fine. And that's more than encouraged, but we can't restrict it. We can't say that you have to do that.
Mr. Mayor. Mr. Chair.
Councilwoman, and then you.
So really what it sounds like this discussion is coming to, and I'm talking like the entirety of this conversation from summer of last year up till today when we had a lot of public comments. I counted 40, but I think I missed some, so there might have been more than that for the public hearing, is that we have a very strong majority public opinion in one way, but is at odds with what the legal advice is. And that's really a difficult position to be in as an elected official, because we were elected by everyone. And we do want to do what the people say, but we also are held to the law. And if we are getting strong legal advice that what we wanted to do as the compromise isn't gonna work, then we have to reconsider, because we don't have funds. That's another thread that, you know, it's been coming up in comments on all sides of this conversation is, what about the lawsuits? Who are gonna pay for those lawsuits, right? And who is gonna pay for those lawsuits? I am, we all are, you all are, right? We're all going to be the ones that pay for those lawsuits if they come through. So what the decision we really have today is, do we want to risk the city getting sued to respect the majority public opinion when we had someone in the room saying they're ready to do it and we know they have the power to do that? Or do we take another option? And the other option is either to pass this, which is the legal advice, or, as Councilman Mahmoud said, we could seek additional advice. So this is something we could potentially table it and talk about it more. Does anyone want to do that? I don't know. I will let the rest of my council members comment on that one. But from my position, those are our two options. We can either table it and talk more, or we can pass this today. So I am very curious to know what the rest of the people have thoughts on this, and see where we can get to a vote.
And you have to make a motion, I guess.
No, we gotta speak first. We gotta speak first if they want people to speak.
Sorry.
Good evening to you all. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for being here today, given your available time. As the Councilwoman said, we started this back in 2022 in July. It's been going on so much, and we're putting a lot of times. And as we heard from every angles of people, that some are against this and few of them are with this resolution. By all means, this already regulated by the Supreme Court. That's what I read. Since that, when the regulations is regulated by the federal and we are law-abiding citizens, and we are law-abiding constitutions. We follow that too, not just a religious practice. This country allows us to practice, speak, do work, and everything by the law, right? So I don't want to bring the religious between us. It's the law already in place, as you heard from our city attorneys. And I spoke with him multiple times regarding this, and that's why I always was not against it, because of my rights come first. Our rights come first. And then all the other things can be regulated, sanitizations, animals and other things that you talked about it. Everything that we eat and dispose has a smell, has cause of bacteria. So do we stop eating? No. So I'm not going to make a long story and make an example. We have already been talked about it, and it's been a long night. But we do have to respect the entire community. And I am elected by the communities. I heard and I represent the communities for the best of the communities, the betterment of the communities. And also faith by Muslim and born by Muslim. And that's my faith. And I will stick with my same faith. Thank you.
Yeah, I like to thank everyone. They come, all my residents, all my community, and the attorney. And I know I hear for everyone. Some people they want the certified, and a lot they don't wanna. I have to respect all my community. When I hear for a lot of people, they don't wanna. I have to respect all my community. Where I just run for the city. I work for the city to make safe, to make everyone is happy, is clear. And I like to do the motion to table this ordinance.
Mr. Chair.
So, just one second.
Yes, I like the motion to table it down. I got a second?
No, discussion not done yet.
First, we already have a motion to amend that they haven't voted on yet. You have to do one motion at a time.
Yes.
So it was suggested that we vote on whether we allow it or not. If the state and federal and the Supreme Court allowed it, then this is what we are voting on today. Then the small details for regulating the technical issues, we can proceed with it. This is not going to change whether you put it on the ballot or not. The Supreme Court already said it's allowed. We cannot, even if it passed in the majority that we don't allow it, they're still going to sue us. So can we vote on this?
Yep.
And just look at the law, the federal and state law, then we can come up with the details. And we can work as a community with the technical issues, how to regulate that, how to get, the small details we can work on it. We cannot just keep the whole year talking about this, because it's obvious from the legal advice that there's no way we can ban it. There's no way we can prohibit people from practicing it. So the small details, we can keep working on it after we pass it. And then we are open to any suggestions about how to maintain safe and healthy environment and clean environment, and we can work on providing designated areas as a community. We can continue working for the next 10 years about these things. But is it allowed or not? The Supreme Court, federal, state law told you it's allowed. So what's the point of postponing it, and just keep meeting for hours and hours every day? Is this the only issue we have in the city? I mean, we have so many issues to focus on. Yes. I'm not ready to keep talking to people hours on the phone and meeting with them every day, because I already know that the community is divided. This sample is not fair, this sample that we saw today. We respect both views, but it doesn't represent the community. Because if you want a random, the survey that is fair, it should be random. You pick people here and there. You don't send 5 emails from one family and say, oh, we are more. I heard 2 families, 5 emails from each family with the same last name. So you cannot say, oh, this reflects the views of the community. Maybe the community who wants it is the minority. Maybe that's true, but it's not based on what we heard today. But again, you cannot suppress people's religious practices because they are minority. So we have Hindus in this community. If we don't like what they do. Can we vote to say, no, you can't practice your religion because you only represent 2% of the community? No, they have the right to practice their religion whether you like it or not. So this is my view. Is it allowed or not? We already heard the legal opinion. Can we just finish with this issue and then work on the details for the next 10 years even? I'm okay with that.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilwoman?
I just want to have a few points of clarification. So I think these are mostly all directed straight at you. So ready? So is it possible for us to put this on the ballot, or would it will not result in any differences in the lawsuits?
It won't result in any differences of lawsuits. Basically, whether it's on the ballot or not, it's unconstitutional to restrict religious sacrifice. So restrict it in a means that's, I guess, more restrictive than what we already have with the humane method.
Right. So
if you are going to add anything further, if you are going to add anything more than that, again, the Supreme Court said it would be a restriction would be allowable in a very rare case.
Well,
nothing we've sort of put forth would make us a rare case.
So ultimately, what is here on this paper is the maximum, in your legal opinion, that we can have.
Correct.
And that means that any details that we're talking about further discussion on would not be able to be added to this at any point in time.
No, unless you want to make lawyers rich. I mean, it's very lucrative for lawyers to sue on both sides of this thing, and so I think somebody suing because we're not restricting enough is going to fail pretty quickly, and you're hard pressed to find an attorney to take that lawsuit because of how clear the law is. So an attorney is going to weigh whether their time is worth it or not, and to sue to force us to restrict animal sacrifice when the Supreme Court says it's unconstitutional to do so. That's just not even a lawsuit. But if you go ahead and restrict it in any fashion whatsoever, they're just going to be. It's a very simple lawsuit. You just you tell judge, the Supreme Court case says this, and this, as I've already mentioned, and they say, oh yeah, it does say that. All right, how much money do you want? Hamtramck residents, pay it. And you guys don't want to pay your hard-earned tax money to lawyers or to a defendant who's just trying to get a payment or settlement. So avoid all that. And that's by adopting this and not restricting further.
Let me just say one more. Okay, we heard that from the legal standpoint. I mean, why are we still, using our judgment based on who's gonna vote for us or who's not? This is something, we do the right thing, whether it's majority support to the minority. I mean, this is the right thing based on the legal advice. This is not something we are willing to do it just for our own interest or because we like it or because based on emotional judgment. So if it's the worst case scenario, like I said, we rather get sued for giving too much religious freedom than to get sued for restricting people's freedom, religious freedom in specifically. So it's not going to change. We can work on the details. We can still talk about the details. We all care about the safety and cleanliness of the city. We are not going to allow any people, to randomly mess up the city. That's not going to be allowed. We're going to make sure that severe penalties will be, implemented on those people. I'm sure it's not going to happen, but just in case. So this is not going to change.
Quick question when you're done. Thank you. When you're done, after you're done.
I'm done. I think it's clear.
Just a quick question to attorney. So since you say this is the state law, regardless of voting or not voting is a state law. So if it's a state law, why even voting on it?
I said that. We can either adopt it, the language that is, or just eliminate section 90.30 or 030 in total, pass this animal ordinance, call it a day. Either way you can do it. Either way it results in the same thing. This is the law. We can't overturn the state law.
Our residents want to know for sure, is it allowed or not? Because it was vague in the beginning, it wasn't clear, and that's why it was brought up in the first time. They want to know now, can we do it or not? Because based on that first original ordinance, you cannot bring animals to the city. So some people interpreted it that, okay, if you can't bring the animals, you can't slaughter them. So that's where it started. We want to make it clear for the people. That's why we brought it on the table.
And it's also making clear that cruelty to animals
everything
doesn't
there.
include the religious animal sacrifice.
Mr.
But
Chair.
according to state law,
I want to access another law today. I want to suspend the discussion on a call for vote.
And this is but you made a motion to them and
Yeah, so you're gonna be voting on the amended resolution.
Yeah, that's why they.
And then motion again
For discussion again.
to discuss.
So he has motions on the table to amend this, and I
No,
seconded.
it's already been amended.
yeah.
No.
We didn't vote for the
Okay, go ahead, vote for amended one.
You amended one.
Oh,
and I
why we
voted-
doing all the discussion before amended one? I thought it was done.
You guys are discussing the
You
amendment.
can still make
to
the motion to
amend-
suspend discussion again.
Yeah,
When we get to the
okay,
second,
right.
suspend
Okay,
discussion.
yes,
We're gonna do just
to
one
amend
and
the
there's more discussion.
So we can vote on the amended now.
amended one, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Councilman Mahmoud,
I'm sorry. So we're gonna discuss with the amended one. That's
we
all.
are voting on the amendment that Hassan motioned, which is amendment to
Attorney
the new
supplement.
language minus the penalty.
Right.
So we're amending to
Change
change
To
it.
put this one instead of the one that was in there.
Minus this very last sentence, this B.
Which, by the way, is just superfluous because there's already a penalty involved.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you're
it's already there.
mistreating, and not doing it humanely, there's an automatic misdemeanor penalty. So that's just why we didn't need to add that.
Yeah.
We're not voting on the
voting right now
final
on the amendment
resolution.
to change it.
Go ahead.
Are we voting
To
on the
change it to
amended?
this language.
We're not voting on the
He
final
dropped it. He
resolution, just
dropped
the
it.
Yes,
amendment
yes,
right
yes,
now.
yes.
And the one that I read.
Thank you, so he voted yes.
Okay.
Is that a vote, yes?
Yes,
Okay. Councilman Al Samiri,
Yes.
Councilman Hassan,
Yes,
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilwoman Jakowski.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, well, amendment to resolution 160.1 to add new language minus penalty has been approved. So now we need to motion,
now, discussion, Mr. Chair, I'd like to,
You need to motion to
you're gonna
discuss.
motion,
To open this discussion,
yeah, you have to motion to discuss the amended resolution as it
okay.
stands.
which
Go
we
ahead.
already spoke.
Oh, no,
And then do the motion to
Right,
suspend. Just, we
right,
have to
go
do
ahead, go ahead.
Okay.
Anyone? I'd like to make the motion to open
To open,
discussion.
okay, thank you.
Second,
Second?
Second.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
And then yes, go ahead.
I'd like to suspend the discussion and motion to go the vote, please. We enough discussion we had.
Voting.
Are you okay with that?
I'm fine, yeah.
Thank you. So we are going to vote on Resolution 2022-160.1 with the amendment of the new language minus the penalty. Councilman Hassan,
Yes,
Councilman Al Samiri,
No.
Councilman Mahmoud,
No.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilwoman Jakowski,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor. That's all I say is approve.
yeah, hold on, I did not have
Hold on. Mr. Mayor, Resolution 22-160.1 approved,
On the
4-2.
Yeah. So we support
Okay.
both groups, we balance it out.
New business.
All right, thank you
it. It's
so much.
over.
Good afternoon.
I,
You got 5 more minutes.
We wanna take a break?
Break.
We wanna take
Break.
okay.
I wish I could have spoken to them together.
Folks, please, we're still in.
2-minute break.
2-minute break.